Yes.
2026, what is the best thing that will happen to tech?
So my
Drum
answer is a
roll.
little adjacent. Yeah, it's adjacent to tech. I think we're going to see more digitization. It's always been a thing where, yeah, just get
Yeah.
more digital representation of physical stuff in the world. But again, using an anchor of AI as a facilitator of efforts here, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that once we start to digitize things, AI, you can swing the AI hammer around and it's going to
Yep.
have a lot more impact, right? So like smart cities, we're seeing it with cars, putting more sensors on things,
Yep.
representing the physical space in the digital world in different ways is going to enable AI, which can do a lot of good things for us in the world. So embodied AI, I think, is still far off, but we're making heavy investments towards it. So my prediction for 2026 is maybe a big company that comes out and starts talking about better sensors or something along the lines of digitizing physical spaces somehow, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Combined with VR and stuff, like
Yeah.
maybe they were too early on that timing, but I think that's a big emphasis for 2026 is digitizing stuff, more
Yeah, I generally
digitizing.
agree. And I think for people to to try to grasp a little bit more too, it's like one of the reasons why like driverless cars work so well is because we've spent an inordinate amount of time making driving trivial. So we have lines in the road. We have
Yeah, yeah,
roadways
yeah,
that
yeah.
are
Right, right.
relatively smooth. We have intersections that tend to
We have
have
rules and
four
laws that
corners,
direct.
right?
Right.
We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
all of these procedures that, so most people don't realize, like they don't think about it because you learn how to drive and you just intuit a lot of this stuff because it's so baked into our culture. When it first started driving, we didn't have all this. There was accidents all the time and people were getting hit and killed and it was terrible. So we fixed it. So AI was actually able, I think, to probably be more easily adapted to those environments because there's a bunch of rules. And driving's still hard. People still get in accidents. Random stuff happens all the time. But it's pretty well understood. It's like playing a game, right? It's like the rules
Yeah,
are there. People break the rules are cheap, but for the most part, the rules are the rules and they make sense. Everything else isn't like that.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that's why a lot of people are so overwhelmed all the time because our society and our world is so complicated and we constantly are spinning out new processes of things you need to learn and be able to do and cope with and understand quickly that AI is not really good at that, surprisingly,
No
right?
way.
I know it
Yeah.
is and it isn't. It's a really fascinating thing. Like it'll learn ways to cheat, but the OpenAI or was it Anthropic's vending machine? I don't know. Maybe they both did it where they had AI try to manage a vending machine, and the first thing it tried to do is basically like extort people to buy.
Yeah,
Like if you
it
don't
was
buy the candy
Anthropic.
bar at $300, then you can't have a candy bar ever again, or I'm gonna email your family and like extort you and shit. And like
Yeah.
we've agreed we don't do that, but AI had to figure that out the hard way. But yeah, no, making the world a more AI friendly place in terms of its ability to understand the world is definitely like a big step. Everybody talks about data with AI too. Data is
Yeah.
important, but a lot of the ways the data gets in now is people, right?
Hmm.
And if we can actually expose the world via
Right.
sensors and data
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
points, and I think like data freshness is something that people in the industry or like in data will talk about, but the average person probably has no idea. If you put a bunch of information in a spreadsheet and upload it to AI, the AI can make all sorts of information and determinations on that. But if anything changes on that spreadsheet
It
and you
does.
don't
Right.
change it,
It's out of date. Right.
AI doesn't know, right? And so it's not
Hmm.
as useful. But if AI can, it's when the all the chat programs got the ability to search and then go out to the internet and pull the latest information, it got them around their training
Period.
problems
And then
where
that was
the
kind of it.
training
Yeah, that was
cut
cut off.
off.
Then there's this cut off. Yeah, that they didn't know
Yeah.
anything that happened since.
And then also made it easier to get information in and out of the thing. So
Right.
yeah, I think you're onto the right track there. My prediction for 2024 or 2026, 2024. My prediction
Backwards prediction.
AI will be the talk of 2025.
Can
My prediction for tech in 2026, the most impactful thing. I I struggle with this. I
Mm,
haven't we were talking a little bit earlier. I don't know if I know. I think the biggest thing in 2026 for tech is going to be a Fortune 100 company is going to come out and they're going to say, we spent X amount of dollars on AI. We have no idea what that value is, and we're going to scale it back, or we're going to hire more people.
oh, interesting.
And
I
they're
like
not going
that.
to say it like that, right? They're not
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
come out
yeah,
and say,
yeah.
we up, but we're going to see a very strong signal from a major company or a major player saying, yeah, we're using AI, it's fine, but just like Ford with the F-150 Lightning, the all EV truck, they basically said we're scrapping it, we're not doing it anymore. We're going to see the equivalent of that with AI in a company by the end of
Okay.
2026.
I like it because it's bold. It's very direct. It's
So,
it's very concrete. So I've been cheating and giving broad answers, but that one's pretty on point.
yeah.
Okay,
And I want to be
interesting.
clear, like AI is not going anywhere. And I keep rehashing the point of it's a fantastic technology for what it's good at, but like every technology, it's not magic. It doesn't do
Hmm.
everything, even though a lot of people are trying to convince you and sell you on that. But what it does do is really good. And there's a lot of ways you can use AI in your job to become more efficient and more productive. And we're going to continue to see that trend for sure in
Hmm.
2026. But I do
Agreed.
think someone's going to call bullshit.
Interesting. Do you have any front runners for who you think might be the ones to do that? There have already been companies that have scaled back their investments, like I think it was
Yeah.
Microsoft or some other companies
Yeah.
that.
Cheating because it's already
Yeah,
happening in
yeah,
2025.
yeah.
No one's had the gumption to come out and just say,
Yeah. Just
yeah,
flat out say it.
it's a cool technology, but like it's not ready for us or it's not really doing
Hmm.
what everyone is promising. I think a lot of the companies who are trying to do AI still, especially the big ones, are so early
Hmm.
in adoption that they haven't recognized it yet. But the fundamental law of economics is that if you spend a bunch of money on something, eventually someone's going to ask what they got for that
Yeah,
money.
yeah. What's the ROI on this? Yeah.
And we've transitioned our companies from value to story driven. So whoever tells the best story gets the flame and the notoriety and the capital. But eventually the capital markets catch up and they say, great, you had this really cool story for however many years. Where's my more money? Right? I
Yeah.
invest in you to return some sort of return on investment. I don't see that return on investment. When the equities markets are all cooked, it the financial incentives for this sort of thing to happen have never been stronger. Like everything is overvalued. There's nowhere to park money. So unless we do get some magic AI breakthrough that everyone I know doesn't think is going to happen, then we're going to see we'll see progress. It'll always get better, just like everything in technology. It'll get better. But I think we're done seeing these massive leaps in AI. There's a broader prediction. I
So the
don't think
bubble's
we're
gonna
going to
burst.
see. I don't know if there's too much money, I think, in the bubble right now for it to really
Okay, for it
burst.
to actually burst, sure.
Way too
But
many
it's gonna
people.
start deflating.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see mega deals. Like maybe in the early part of first half of 2026, we'll see some more mega deals, but I don't think we'll see anything after that, or at least not on the scale. There might be one, but I don't think we'll see the massive investment pieces. But yeah, from a big player, I think we're going to see more consolidation before we see defeat. And
Okay.
so I could see Microsoft buying like Anthropic or Apple
Oh,
buying
really?
Anthropic
Okay.
or something like that. OpenAI might be absorbed or merged into something too, because the massive tech companies are going to want to acquire the tech once the R&D curve stabilizes. And
Sure. Yeah.
I think we've seen the R&D curve stabilize. Like yes, there's still advancement. Yes, there's still more R&D we need to do,
We've hit
but everyone's
we've
going
picked all
after
the low
data
hanging
centers
fruit.
and
Yeah,
chips.
yeah.
Right? It's like how can I just run the damn thing, let alone train the next thing? And as we've seen in the most recently, like yes, like Gemini 2.5 to Gemini 3 was a pretty big leap. OpenAI 4 or whatever to 5 was a decent leap. 5 to 5.1, 5 to 5.2,
Incremental. Yeah.
yeah, better, but is it like going from 3 to 4? No.
Mm.
Is it Gemini 1 to Gemini 2? No. And that's just the natural technology curve. And we'll have another bump, right? And then Gemini 5 will be awesome, and then we'll plateau, and then it'll bump. It's
Yeah.
Moore's law, effectively. But the amount of compute and energy and all this shit that we need to get to that next bump is pretty capital and physics intensive, and eventually people I think are going to get sick of that too, and they're not going to
Hmm.
want their electric bill to go up anymore,
Yeah.
and then we'll
That's a good
have
prediction.
other
Yeah.
uses for
Everyone's
electrons.
yeah. Costs are gonna go up for energy for
There
sure.
already
Yeah.
are. And it's yes, we need to have more energy in the United States. I think the administration's take on getting rid of solar and wind and only focusing
Not the
on
best
natural
decision. Yeah.
gas and oil and nuclear is insane. Like we should have a
Mm.
free market for energy. And if you want to do large scale solar and large scale wind, that's awesome. That's called diversification, folks.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
environmentalism,
Energy
all this other shit
diversification. Yeah.
aside, like the way that you are a capitalist is you have diversity of stuff.
Mm.
And when you get a monopoly, it breaks. We all know that. I'll
Yeah.
make the rules. They teach you that in MBA school, yet everybody wants to go create a monopoly because they think it's great. But the reality is you hurt yourself as much as the rest of the market when you have
Yeah.
monopolies. But maybe we'll figure that out in 2026.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's one of the predictions I think will not come true.
2028.
Push it out a little bit farther. Yeah, sure. As long as we have humans, I think there's always going to be the goal for someone trying to
Yeah.
build a monopoly.
Well, happy end of 2020 V5.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I still think of time in post-COVID
It's
terms
kind of
as
yeah stopping. Yeah.
I feel like we're
Just
still
having
in a pause loop state and we're just on the fifth version of whatever insanity came out of COVID.
yeah
Hoping we
yeah
get out of
the
that in 2026.
darkest timeline kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't even know it's that. It's just, we've talked a lot about this, but it's
Something happened during that period of time that
something
caused.
cracked. And
Yeah.
yeah, like the movie thing. Where are my new movies? It's
Yeah.
all
Well.
rehashing. Like, I was looking at movies last night on Christmas to after dinner. Oh, we should watch a movie or something. And I think it was Apple TV. And I don't really, am not tapped into this stuff, but scrolling through and it was like thing one, thing two, thing one, thing two, thing three. Some
Thing one, spin
variation
off of
of
thing
another
one. Yeah, yeah.
title that
Spin off
is a
of thing one.
sequel.
Right, right.
And I'm
Yeah,
like, Apple TV is like 4 or 5 years old and they're already in sequels. And great. If people are really into something, cool. Expand on it, make it better, iterate 100%. But we don't try new things, it seems like, anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And creativity needs to flourish through new stuff. And a
yeah.
lot of times that new stuff doesn't pan out. Okay, you learn from it. And then in your 15th attempt at doing something maybe completely unrelated, you get the new blockbuster hit. Iron Man didn't exist forever. And the original Iron Man, if you were to go back and look at it now, talking about Marvel characters, you'd be like, this is the most boring, dumb thing I've ever seen.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Marvel Iron Man 1.
It's
Kind of.
different. Yeah, no, it's different. And that's part, some people are into that. Cool. But like,
Yeah.
it was a different time with
Hmm.
different
Right,
culture, with
right.
different
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
And it's evolved over time. And that's awesome. But give me my new Iron Man. And all the comic book people are probably shouting right now, telling me about all this stuff I don't know anything
yeah.
about.
Just-
But
Very
get it
true.
in the mass market. Get it something. I'm not a comic book nerd. I know about them, but
Mhm.
give me something new that's not based on the kind of universe ideas that we've seen for the last 10 years.
Right.
It's my challenge for 2026.
That was one of my predictions. It's going to happen.
We'll see.
We will see.
Anything
Yeah,
else to wrap it out? We're almost 2 years old.
yeah. It's
Closing
kind of
out
crazy.
2025.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think one of the things that we've been going on for 2 years and we always come back to the same ideas, right? Like creativity, intention. It's reassuring to me that there's always a topic to talk about when it comes to this kind of stuff, and hitting the 2 year mark and still having good conversations and things that we want to talk about. It's refreshing. It's nice.
Yeah.
So I appreciate.
And thanks to the audience in 2025 and 2024 and 2023. It's the audience-ship, the listenership, the viewership, whatever verbs we need there, has grown. And over the last, I guess, third quarter of 2025, we started doing YouTube stuff, and the
Yeah,
viewership has grown tremendously on YouTube, more than I ever thought it would, which is awesome. I love it. The listenership continues to grow as well across all the different platforms. It's awesome. And again, podcast at 38.com. Let us know what you're thinking. If you have ideas or stuff you want to talk about, let us know, and we'll start doing live streams more frequently in 2026 sometime.
yeah. Show up for those and be
Yeah.
engaged and talk about stuff. And
That was the goal for 2025 for 38, was to be more interactive. It just didn't happen.
oh, I didn't realize that. I know it was something we
Yeah.
talked about, but I didn't know that was our goal.
I put together I put together like a business plan.
Oh shoot! I
You
didn't
remember that? I
realize
think I sent it to you. I should dig that out.
I may not have looked
Publish
at
that.
it.
I know.
I may
Right?
not have looked at it.
No, this was mid 2023 when I was thinking
Oh
about doing a
wow!
podcast. And it
Okay.
wasn't, I wasn't thinking about doing a podcast. I was thinking about how do I inspire creativity in society? And the idea is maybe best suited for another time.
Yeah, those would be good
But
topics to discuss, I think, in general.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we should open with 2026 on that. But the idea was very different. And then the podcast came out of it as like a way to do exposure of the ideas around creativity. But I've always wanted it to be participatory in some
Yeah,
way. And
yeah.
it's hard with a mass audience. It's hard to get started. Like if you already have a bunch of money and funds and notoriety and
Cold
fame and
start
stuff,
issue.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we'll figure that nut out in 2026, I think. But it's we've done some live streams, we've had participation, and I enjoy it more,
Good.
frankly. Yeah.
That's
No,
the reason why you do these, right? Because you enjoy it.
appreciate you talking to me weekly for 6 months in 2025, and I'm looking forward to 2026.
Yes, me as well.
I guess
All
that's
right,
not
take care,
true.
everyone.
We've been talking weekly for a
We've been
long
talking a
time.
long
We just
time.
didn't
Yeah, we've been
start
talking for a long
recording.
time
Yeah.
before. That's true. I was gonna say, yeah, that's true. We have been talking for a long time.
Yeah. And we still don't know if each other has legs.
We've never met in person, actually. Yeah, that's true.
We should figure that out in
One
2026.
day, yes, one day in 2026, we shall
All
do
right.
that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Take care. See you next
All
year.
right. Yes. See you all
All
next year.
right.
Yeah.